Imagine this: you're lying in bed, wide awake at 3 a.m., your mind racing with fears about the future or regrets about the past. Every creak of the house feels louder, and the ticking clock becomes the drumbeat of your anxious thoughts. You clutch your pillow, wishing for sleep, but it feels as distant as the moon outside your window. Anxiety, as overwhelming as it may seem, is a shared human experience, one that has echoed through the ages. Let me share a story. In ancient India, a young man approached the Buddha, his face lined with worry. He explained how his thoughts plagued him, how fear and regret stole his peace. The Buddha, with a calm smile, handed him a cup of water and a pinch of salt. "Taste this," the Buddha said, as the man dissolved the salt in the cup and drank it. It was unbearably bitter. Then, the Buddha led him to a lake, sprinkled in the same amount of salt, and asked him to drink again. This time, the water tasted pure. "The salt is like your worries," the Buddha said. "When your mind is small, they overwhelm you. But when your mind is vast, they dissolve into insignificance." Welcome to Buddha's Odyssey. In today's video, we'll explore how to expand your mental lake through the profound wisdom of Buddhism. Together, we'll dive into ancient practices, practical tools, and transformative stories designed to help you find peace amidst the chaos. Stick with us. By the end of this journey, you'll discover not just how to cope with anxiety, but how to transform it into inner strength and clarity. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Anxiety's roots. You first need to know what is anxiety, and where does it come from. To change our relationship with anxiety, we must first understand its roots. Anxiety is not inherently bad, it's an evolutionary tool that has helped humanity survive for thousands of years. Imagine this: you're walking through a dense jungle. Every sound makes you jump. A rustle in the bushes feels like a lurking predator, and your heart races as you prepare to run or fight. This is the origin of anxiety, our body's ancient survival mechanism designed to protect us from danger. Anxiety served our ancestors well, keeping them alive in the face of predators and natural disasters. When danger arose, the body's fight or flight system kicked in, releasing adrenaline to help them act swiftly. But today, our world is vastly different. We no longer face lions or raging storms, yet our brains still react as if we do. Instead of predators, we have emails marked urgent, endless social media comparisons, and looming deadlines. These modern threats trigger the same ancient response, keeping us in a state of heightened alert. Think about it. Have you ever felt your heart race after reading a stressful email or seeing a message that starts with "We need to talk"? It's the same reaction our ancestors had to a roaring tiger, only now, the tiger is in our inbox or our mind. Anxiety often feels like carrying a heavy backpack that you can't take off. You try to focus, but the weight of worry pulls you down. A small mistake at work becomes a disaster in your mind. A disagreement with a friend spirals into fears about losing the relationship. The more you try to control these thoughts, the more overwhelming they become. Picture your mind as a forest, and your thoughts as mischievous monkeys swinging from tree to tree. When anxiety strikes, the monkeys become restless, leaping from one worry to another. A single concern like forgetting to reply to an email snowballs into a cascade of fear. What if they think I'm unreliable? What if I lose my job? What if I can't pay my bills? These racing thoughts create a cycle that feels impossible to escape. But here's the truth: anxiety doesn't have to control you. By understanding its origins and nature, you can begin to take the first step toward transforming it into a source of insight and strength. Number 2. Buddhism's view on anxiety. Anxiety feels overwhelming because it convinces us that its presence is permanent. But the Buddhist teaching on impermanence, anicca, reminds us that everything, including our emotions, is temporary. Just as clouds drift across the sky or waves crash on the shore, our feelings, including anxiety, come and go. Take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you felt anxious? Maybe it was a few hours ago, or even yesterday. Where is that anxiety now? Like a passing storm, it has likely softened, shifted, or disappeared. This offers the comforting truth: anxiety is a visitor, not a permanent resident. Think of standing by a river. The water flows endlessly, changing with each moment. Anxiety is like that river, always shifting, never the same. When we believe anxiety will last forever, we suffer more. But when we accept its impermanence, we find peace. The next time anxiety feels overwhelming, remind yourself, this, too, shall pass. No storm lasts forever. By seeing your anxiety as a passing wave, you allow space for calm to return. The Buddha also shared the Four Noble Truths, which offer a clear path through our struggles with anxiety. First, he acknowledged that suffering, including anxiety, is a universal human experience. You're not alone in this journey. Second, he revealed that our suffering often comes from attachment to outcomes we can't control, to images of who we think we should be, to relationships we fear losing. Third, he offered hope. We can find freedom from this suffering. And fourth, he provided a practical path forward through mindfulness and meditation. But how do we bring these ancient teachings into our daily lives? The answer lies in mindfulness, the art of being fully present in each moment. When anxiety arises, our thoughts often spiral into the past, regret, or the future, fear. Mindfulness brings us back to the present, where peace resides. Try this exercise with me. Pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Notice the physical sensations of anxiety. Is it a tightness in your chest? A flutter in your stomach? Simply observe without judgment. This act of observing creates distance between you and your anxiety, making space for clarity. This gentle act of observation creates space between you and your anxious thoughts. It's like stepping back from a painting. With a little distance, we can see the bigger picture more clearly. Through regular mindfulness practice, we begin to discover that peace isn't found by eliminating anxiety, but by changing our relationship with it. Now, let's explore specific practices that can help us cultivate this mindful awareness in our daily lives. Number 3. Anxiety in the modern world. In our fast-paced modern world, anxiety has evolved far beyond basic survival instincts. Picture this: you wake up, reach for your phone, and instantly feel overwhelmed. Sound familiar? Every day, we step into a digital maze of endless social media feeds showing perfect lives, work emails demanding immediate attention, news headlines predicting doom, and messages from friends needing responses. It's like being in a maze where every turn brings a new worry. But here's what Buddhism teaches us: these modern pressures are not your enemies, they are your teachers. Think about the last time you scrolled through social media. What did you see? Vacation photos from friends, career achievements, perfect family moments, carefully filtered selfies. But remember, these are just highlights, not the full story. Just as a museum only displays its finest pieces, social media shows life's curated moments. The Buddhist teaching of impermanence reminds us, these perfect snapshots are fleeting, just like clouds in the sky. Money concerns keep many of us awake at night. Job security feels like walking on thin ice. Bills pile up like autumn leaves. The future seems increasingly uncertain. But here's where Buddhist wisdom offers a different perspective. True wealth isn't in your bank account, it's in your present moment. Consider this: nature's greatest gifts, sunshine, air, the beauty of a sunset, are free. Buddhism offers us 3 powerful tools for modern anxiety. When social media overwhelms, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, do these images reflect reality? Before buying something new, pause and reflect, will this truly add value to my life? When future worries arise, gently bring yourself back to now. This moment, right here, right now, is your true home. Remember, just as a skilled sailor doesn't curse the wind but learns to work with it, we can learn to transform anxiety from a storm into a gentle breeze guiding us toward growth. Now, let's explore how to apply these insights in daily life, or in other words, how to overcome anxiety. So, how can we apply these insights to our daily lives? Let's explore 3 powerful tools from Buddhist wisdom that can transform our relationship with anxiety. These are not just ancient techniques, but practical solutions for the challenges we face in the modern world. The first tool is something you're doing right now, breathing. Known in Buddhist tradition as anapanasati, mindful breathing is like dropping an anchor in stormy waters. It's always there, always accessible, ready to ground you whenever anxiety rises. Let's try a simple practice together. Find a comfortable position, letting your spine be naturally straight but relaxed. If you'd like, gently close your eyes. Now, take a deep breath through your nose. Notice the cool sensation as air enters your nostrils. Feel how it travels down, filling your lungs. As you exhale slowly, follow the warm breath flowing outward. When your mind wanders, and it will, simply notice that, and guide your attention back to your breath. This simple rhythm creates a bridge between the chaos of anxiety and the calm that already exists within you. The second tool might surprise you. It's treating yourself with compassion. Think about how you respond when anxiety appears. Do you criticize yourself? I shouldn't feel this way. I need to be stronger. Buddhist wisdom offers a gentler path. Instead of fighting anxiety, try meeting it with kindness, like you would comfort a dear friend. Say to yourself, this feeling is hard. It's okay to struggle sometimes. I'm human, and this is part of being human. This simple shift from self-criticism to self-compassion can transform anxiety from an enemy into a teacher. Our third tool is understanding the true nature of thoughts. When anxiety strikes, our thoughts can feel like a runaway train of worst-case scenarios. I'll fail this project. My career will collapse. Everything will fall apart. But here's the revolutionary insight from Buddhist wisdom. Thoughts aren't facts. They are more like clouds passing through the vast sky of your mind. Try this, the next time anxious thoughts arise, simply label them. There's worry. Here's fear showing up again. This simple act of naming creates space between you and your thoughts. Then, get curious. Ask yourself, is this thought really true? What evidence do I actually have? Often, you'll find these fearful predictions are just stories your mind is telling you. These 3 tools, mindful breathing, self-compassion, and thought awareness, work together like a symphony. The breath anchors you in the present moment. Self-compassion soothes the struggle. Awareness helps you see thoughts for what they are, just thoughts, not reality. Remember, anxiety often pulls us into worries about the future or regrets about the past. But peace lives in the present moment. When you feel overwhelmed, return to your breath. When you're harsh with yourself, offer compassion. When thoughts spiral, observe them with gentle curiosity. With practice, these tools build something remarkable, resilience. Not by eliminating anxiety, but by changing your relationship with it. Like learning to dance in the rain rather than waiting for the storm to pass. Take a moment now to notice how you feel. Perhaps there's already a small shift, a moment of peace, a breath of fresh air. This is just the beginning of your journey with these ancient tools that have helped countless people find their way back to calm. Let me tell you the story of the carpenter's apprentice. Once upon a time, there was a young apprentice, full of ambition and a thirst for perfection. Every piece of wood he handled was a great challenge, and he couldn't stop worrying about every detail, every cut. He was terrified of even the slightest mistake, and the anxiety soon became a heavy burden. The moments of tension in the workshop wore him down and made him doubt his own abilities. Seeing the struggle of his apprentice, the seasoned carpenter, who had gone through many ups and downs in his craft, decided to share a simple yet profound piece of advice: the wood will tell you where it needs to be cut. Listen to it. At first, the apprentice was confused by this advice. How could wood speak to him? Yet, gradually, as he began to let go of his rigid expectations and focused on observing the natural grain of the wood, something magical happened. He began to feel a rhythm in his work, learning to trust the process instead of trying to control every step. Over time, he realized that perfection was not a fixed, eternal destination, but an ongoing relationship between himself and his craft. He no longer forced himself to achieve absolute perfection. Instead, he learned to appreciate the unique characteristics of each piece of wood. The imperfections, the cracks, were no longer enemies but part of the creative process. This acceptance helped him reduce his anxiety, replacing it with a sense of harmony and meaning in every stage of his work. This story is not just a lesson about carpentry but a profound reflection on the struggles we often face in modern life. Like the apprentice, we often create suffering by trying to control everything, from our work and relationships to our thoughts and emotions. In today's society, when we face anxiety and insecurity, we often react with frantic efforts to achieve perfection in every moment. However, this perfection is an illusion. Instead of rejecting imperfection, we should learn to listen to our thoughts and emotions, just as the apprentice listened to each piece of wood. We should face anxiety and accept it as part of life, without trying to push it away. We cannot control everything, but we can learn to make peace with what we cannot control, leading us to live a more harmonious life. And that is the profound lesson from the carpenter. Perfection is not a destination, but a process, an ongoing journey where we continuously learn and grow through each mistake, each imperfection. Another profound narrative is the parable of the poisoned arrow, a story that underscores the importance of addressing suffering directly. In this tale, a man struck by a poisoned arrow becomes preoccupied with irrelevant questions. Who shot the arrow? Why did they target me? What type of poison is on the arrowhead? Instead of removing the arrow to save his life, he fixates on these details, prolonging his suffering. The Buddha used this parable to illustrate how we often allow our minds to spiral into unproductive rumination, distracting us from taking meaningful action. The lessons from the stories above, along with the practices of mindfulness, self-compassion, and awareness of thoughts, act like sturdy ropes. They anchor us to the present moment, where anxiety loses its power. When your mind is pulled toward worries about the future or regrets about the past, let your breath guide you back. When self-criticism arises, compassion will soothe it. And when spiraling thoughts seem unending, awareness will help you find calm. Remember, just as the carpenter learned to trust the natural grain of the wood, we too can learn to trust the flow of life. Perfection does not come from eliminating anxiety but from transforming our relationship with it. With consistent practice, these ancient tools, breath, self-compassion, and awareness, offer resilience. Not the kind of resilience that comes from bracing yourself against life's challenges, but the kind that arises from understanding, acceptance, and wisdom. This is the path to lasting peace, not a life free from storms, but the ability to dance in the rain. As we conclude this section, I invite you to choose one practice that feels most meaningful to you, whether it's the breath, self-compassion, or gentle awareness. Let it become your companion for the day, a teacher guiding you toward greater peace. To conclude our journey together, I invite you to take one conscious breath. Feel the calm that exists beneath the storm of thoughts. This is just the beginning. The path of self-discovery and mindfulness is not linear, it's a continuous unfolding. If you wish to explore these ancient teachings and integrate them into your daily life, I warmly invite you to subscribe to Buddha's Odyssey. Together, we'll uncover how to transform anxiety from an obstacle into an opportunity for growth, allowing it to become a teacher rather than a burden. As we part ways today, remember, peace isn't found by eliminating anxiety, but by understanding it with wisdom and compassion. Just like the journey of the carpenter's apprentice, our path to inner peace is not about achieving perfection, but about embracing the impermanence and beauty of each moment as it is. Until next time, may you find peace in the space between your thoughts, and may each breath guide you closer to wisdom and understanding.